Hello everyone and welcome to my Sister Wives Gossip. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Kroy Biermann loses his cool with cops on Bodycam footage. Bodycam footage shows Kroy Biermann losing his cool with police after receiving a ticket. The Don't Be Tardy alum was pissed off for getting a citation after his dog escaped from his yard. Footage shows him arguing with the cops who responded to calls. Kroy Biermann alleges harassment from neighbors. People have been used to seeing Kroy Biermann livid at his estranged wife, Kim Zolciak. However, now he's angry at the cops and his HOA. TMZ has obtained bodycam footage of police responding to calls about Kroy's dog being on the loose. Kroy has a cane corso named Stone, which is a fairly large dog. Apparently, the dog has been allowed to run the streets of the neighborhood, terrorizing people in the streets. One complaint stated that the 3-year-old dog chased 2 different people. Hearing this, Kroy laughed, but it was clear the police didn't think it was a laughing matter. Apparently, the dog chased the neighbor to the other side of the street, and they had to jump inside somebody's car. The officers said that the neighbor was concerned they were going to have to pepper spray the dog. The former NFL player was cited by police for letting the dog get loose. Footage shows how Kroy Biermann reacted to the citation. In the clip, he sounds extremely frustrated. He stands with his hands on his hips, making faces as one of the responding officers details the complaints being made about him. "They do it all day, every day," Kroy said in the bodycam tape. "They call all the time. We've had animal control called 10+ times on us. We're in the public eye and going through a nasty divorce. The community does not like us. It's just harassment." Kim Zolciak's ex claims he owns the whole neighborhood. In addition to letting officers know that he feels the neighbors are out to get him, he reminds them that he's in the middle of an ugly divorce from Kim Zolciak. When that didn't get him any sympathy, he tried to play the HOA card. The officer said that the city ordinance states that the dog had to be confined to his property. Kroy alleged that because he pays his HOA dues, the whole neighborhood is technically his private property. "This is my property," he said, appearing annoyed. "This is my property and I pay HOA dues, so I have a right to have this property." Of course, the officer doesn't buy what Kroy is saying. This wasn't the first time law enforcement has been sent out to speak with Kroy Biermann about his dog. Back in November, one of his neighbors called the cops after she saw Stone off his leash. She also claimed that the dog nearly attacked her children too. Former NFL player Kroy Biermann is no stranger to public attention, thanks to his high-profile marriage and ongoing divorce battle with reality star Kim Zolciak. But this time, the spotlight has turned harsher than ever. Newly surfaced bodycam footage has exposed a tense encounter between Kroy and local law enforcement, where his frustration and emotions spilled out in a way that left fans and critics buzzing. The footage, now making the rounds online, paints a raw picture of a man under extreme pressure. While Kroy has always maintained a public image of discipline and control, traits that served him well during his football career, the video shows cracks in that exterior. The once stoic defensive end, who used to face down some of the toughest athletes in the NFL, seemed undone by the crushing weight of personal and financial turmoil. A man on edge. The scene captured on the bodycam is immediately tense. Officers were reportedly called to the home Kroy still shares with Kim, where a domestic dispute had escalated beyond what neighbors considered normal marital squabbling. As the cops arrived, Kroy appeared visibly agitated, pacing on the driveway with his hands flying in the air. His voice, deep and commanding, carried a mix of anger and desperation. "Do you see what I'm dealing with?" he barked at one officer, pointing toward the house. His tone was not of someone trying to intimidate, but of a man exasperated, perhaps even pleading for anyone, to validate his turmoil. The officers attempted to calm the situation, urging him to step back and lower his voice, but Kroy, clearly feeling cornered, wasn't quick to comply. "I've done everything I can to keep this family together," he said, his voice cracking slightly. "And now I'm the one getting treated like the problem. For years, Kroy and Kim were portrayed as the ultimate reality TV success story. Their spin-off, Don't Be Tardy, showcased their seemingly blissful family life with their 4 children. But beneath the designer handbags, luxury cars, and Instagram-perfect photos, the cracks were already forming. Financial troubles began to surface, tax liens piled up, and foreclosure rumors loomed over their lavish Georgia mansion. All of these strains appeared to boil over in that Bodycam footage. Kroy's irritation with the officers wasn't merely about the moment. It was years of stress bubbling to the surface. To the public, his outburst symbolized the implosion of the carefully crafted Biermann brand. The breaking point. As the footage continues, officers can be heard reminding Kroy to stay calm, but his responses grow sharper. At one point, he throws his hands up in disbelief and mutters, "You don't understand what it's like to live with this every single day." Observers of the video noted that Kroy wasn't lashing out violently. He wasn't threatening the officers or resisting physically. Instead, his loss of composure seemed rooted in exhaustion, a raw emotional unraveling that played out under the cold, unflinching lens of a police bodycam. One particularly striking moment comes when Kroy, visibly choked up, says, "I gave up my career for this family. I gave up everything." That line, echoing in the footage, feels like the core of his unraveling. Fans who once admired him as the level-headed, supportive husband couldn't help but wonder if this was the real cost of being tied to a reality TV empire built more on glamour than stability. Fans react. Social media lit up once the footage was released. Some sympathized deeply with Kroy, suggesting he's simply a man who reached his breaking point after being dragged through public scandal after scandal. Others criticized him, arguing that losing his cool in front of law enforcement was reckless and potentially dangerous. One fan wrote on Twitter, "You can see the pain in his eyes. Kroy isn't a bad guy. He's just drowning in all of this chaos." Another posted, "Football taught him control. Reality TV broke him." Meanwhile, critics pointed out that police officers often face tense situations, and Kroy's combative attitude could have escalated things dangerously. "You can't talk to cops like that," one commenter noted. "He's lucky they kept their cool." Kim's silence speaks volumes. Interestingly, Kim Zolciak has remained quiet since the footage surfaced. For a woman who's never shied away from attention or confrontation, her silence feels deafening. Many speculate she's intentionally distancing herself, letting Kroy absorb the brunt of public backlash. However, insiders close to the couple suggest Kim may be quietly strategizing, possibly preparing to use the footage as leverage in their ongoing divorce and custody battles. Kim has always been very calculated, one source revealed. If she thinks this footage makes Kroy look unstable, she won't hesitate to use it to her advantage. A public unraveling. The release of bodycam footage has become a cultural phenomenon of its own in recent years, offering an unfiltered look into high-profile incidents. For Kroy, however, the exposure couldn't have come at a worse time. Already embroiled in messy court disputes, the footage adds fuel to the narrative of a man losing control. But perhaps what makes this situation so compelling is the human element. Kroy isn't just a celebrity. He's a father of 6, a man trying to navigate life after fame and financial ruin. Watching him lose his cool on camera doesn't just provide tabloid fodder. It raises broader questions about the emotional toll of reality TV fame, financial collapse, and the pressures of maintaining a public image when your private life is in shambles. Where does he go from here? As the dust settles, the question becomes, what's next for Kroy Biermann? Some believe this could be a turning point for him, a chance to step back from the chaos and rebuild privately, away from cameras and public scrutiny. Others fear that the public meltdown will only deepen the rift between him and Kim, making their divorce even more contentious.